Our next keynote speaker is someone who has made her passion to be her profession. What a fantastic way to love what you do and thrive in it. We are honored to have Helen Greiner, our keynote speaker for this afternoon. She has been a co-founder, a chairman, and the president of iRobot Corporation for 18 years. I think iRobot, being a household name, bears no introduction on what the company is about. But something else which is very interesting part of Helen's journey is delivering drones in combat areas and where there is no human access. Helen's passion is to build robots. And suffice it to say, when you have a passion for a purpose, a successful journey organically follows. Helen's story is exactly that, and she truly is a poster child to our theme. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Helen Greiner.
Okay. Well, my name's Helen, and I'm delighted to be here, and I've been involved in a huge number of robot projects over the years. People know the home robots the best, the Roomba, but I've also been involved in robots for large-scale cleaning, robots that go down into oil wells, robots that fly, robots that go underwater, robots that stay out at sea for 6 months. And through all this time, I can't say that I started as an intentional entrepreneur. My intention was to build robots. So when I was 10 years old, I saw Star Wars on the big screen, and I was really inspired by R2-D2. I fell in love because he was a character. He had an agenda, and he was really more than a machine. And I've always wanted to build robots that were really more than machines. So something drew me to MIT, and I learned a lot there. I studied mechanical, computer science, all kinds of engineering. But what they really didn't know is how to build practical, intelligent robot systems. Oh, that's much better, thank you. Right after grad school at MIT, me and two co-founders, Rod Brooks and Colin Angle, we started iRobot. And we were not an overnight success. We had many, many years. We started out a little inauspiciously. We decided we wanted to build, we were getting a lot of attention for the AI work in mobile robots, embedded intelligence, and we got, when I say a lot of attention, I'm talking the cover of some, big magazines, and we figured there must be a market, right? There must be a market because everyone's so interested in these things. And I guess we didn't have the common sense to know. We had a lot of academic sense, but maybe not the common sense to know that maybe we should start with a better business model. Our first one, by the way, was to do the first robot steps on the moon, because surely some big company like Nike or someone would pay for those first robot steps on the moon. So when I speak to young folks about planning, I say, this kind of worked in hindsight, but don't do it this way. This is not a good intentional entrepreneurship plan. So it did take us a long time to take off. But during that time, we were always building robots. We were always growing a little, even if it was a minuscule amount from year to year. And we were always doing something we felt was going to be the next big thing. So we were always motivated for it. We were always building great robot systems. And then, a lot of times, we're working with a big company or the Defense Department, and they worked at a glacial pace. And they're like, oh, yeah, we just spent millions of dollars paying you to do this, but we're not going to launch it. We were just joking. But it wasn't until we started saying, this is what we want to do. We want to do a home robot for cleaning. We want to do robots that save lives for the military. And we started getting investment capital in, and we started pushing what we want to build, rather than saying, oh, we're the engineers, we're just going to build what people tell us to build and hope for the best, throw it over the wall. We really had to start saying, no, we want to see what's the combination of what the world needs and what we want to build. And we found two, and they hit at exactly the same time, which is the short version of the story of why iRobot ended up doing 2 successful businesses. One of them, the robots for the military, I was working with special forces guys, and I was assuming we would be doing the autonomy. We would be taking the robots they had and making them more able to work on their own. And then I discovered something that was shocking to me. They didn't have robots yet. They were sending a person into a building first. They would send a person up to a bomb that that could explode. And that sounded to me like a really, really good application for robots. So these are the robots, and we sold $1 billion of them to the Defense Department at iRobot, not in 1 year. And this is how they go into the field, and this is how they sometimes come back. And this one was brought into the robot hospital in Iraq, and the big Marine is like, "Can you fix it? Can you fix it?" And they're like, no, the warranty's void. But the reason he wanted this one was because he felt it was one of the team. He said it had saved him and his buddies so many times because it had gone out there first, and sometimes what's out there explodes. And so you can see the number from the hashtags of the UXO missions that are done, of the IED missions, and of the vehicle-borne explosives. And he wanted this one back. And so I do claim we don't have R2-D2, but it is more than a machine to the people that it's helping. We put the Roomba on the market the same year the PackBot deployed. And to many people's surprise, it took off. There's now over 30 million of them out there, and it's been very successful. And I think really the only really very successful home robot product. Now the lawnmowers might catch up, and I'm working on another one now that we're selling, but this one was certainly the first. So we're talking about intentional entrepreneurship, and we didn't have a lot of capital at iRobot because we were running a robot company, and robots had never had any success. So people asked, how did we do it? Well, we did bootstrap it a lot. We did use our credit cards, but what we really used was the passion of the people. And it was anthropologist Margaret Mead who said, a small group of people can change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever does. And I like to paraphrase that, and I truly believe a small group of engineers, a small group of passionate people can disrupt an industry, and it really is the only thing that ever does. Now, once it gets bigger and get going, you do need to scale, you do need teams of people, you do need, all the infrastructure and all the processes, but to get that initial innovation doing, I believe it's that small group of people that really, really believe in the mission, and this is the initial Roomba team. We took iRobot public in 2005, which was a great day. We had a wonderful opportunity to push the button and open the NASDAQ and to experience junkies like me. I thought, that's like gold. And we turned it down because we thought it would be more appropriate if the hero robot that had saved hundreds of soldiers and thousands of civilians by going up to bombs first would do that honor, and it did. So the first robot to open the NASDAQ. And you can see I'm having a really good day that day. My next company, and I stepped down from being chairman after 18 years because I like the innovation side. I do like that intentional entrepreneurship aspect where you're creating something completely new that's going to change things and going to do the job differently. So I started in drones because I saw that drones are like a magic technology that gets through a lot of the boundaries that the ground robots have. So we actually, at Sci-Fi, we delivered these robots to special forces, and they were used in Iraq and Syria, and they were saying they did save soldiers' lives. The other thing we did was I convinced UPS to give us some money to do the first field trials of drone delivery. And we were able to do that right off the coast here in Massachusetts. And that was very rewarding because I believe that your packages will one day be delivered by drones. You want that hot coffee, you're not going to have to go to Starbucks and get it. It's going to come to you. And it's taking off now. Manor in Ireland, Google Wing, Amazon. zip line, they're all doing it, and it's going really strong. After sci-fi, I was offered a great opportunity to go into the Pentagon to help oversee the robot programs. The billions and billions of dollars are being spent on the drones and the ground robots, and I thought that was a little bit kind of a way to do some public service, to give back and to try and save the taxpayers some money by not going the wrong way. So it was a thrill to work in the Pentagon at the, not enlisted, but at the general level, civilian, and be able to see how the sausage is made, so to speak. So what am I doing now? Well, one thing people don't always know about me, I do love technology and robots, but I also love gardening. And I jumped into a company that does a weeding robot for home gardening, and it's kind of cool, so I wanted to show it to you, because a good entrepreneur always plugs their product.
Enjoy taking care of your garden. Let Turtle Weeding Robot take care of the weeds. Turtle is solar powered and lives in your garden all season long. Its special wheels kill emerging weeds. If any do manage to grow, Turtle cuts them down with its string trimmer. Say goodbye, weeds, and hello, Turtle.
So I do love working in this space, and I love, thank you. The gentleman who invented that was actually on a previous slide. He had invented the Roomba when he was at iRobot. I do love working in the gardening space, and the reason is when you grow your own food, it's more nutritious, it's more delicious, and there is nothing in the world like a homegrown tomato or a homegrown peas and beans and stuff. So I highly recommend it. And if any of you are gardeners, I've made a promo code, again, plugging our stuff. Or if you know gardeners, we'd really appreciate it if you could give them the heads up on Turtle. And do share the promo code. That'll get a good deal. So we're going to expand now into agricultural automation. And why? Well, it's a great time for ag automation. We've already got our wheels dirty, delivering thousands of robots to the home. But they experience a lot of difficulty getting labor in agriculture. There's a real increased demand for organic food, and it takes a lot more, hands-on to grow organic food than to just dump fertilizer and to dump herbicides on your farmland. And it's really a much more sustainable practice, which is, as I have been, I get to choose what I want to do. I want to do something that is intentional, that does help the world. And also there's herbicide-resistant weeds. They're coming on very strong, and there's nothing in the pipeline that's going to be approved that's going to take care of them. So even the stuff that we are using, which isn't that great to be using, you won't be able to be used for a long amount of time because nature finds a way. And then there's an increasing population, so we're not really expanding farmland, right? So we have to make the current farmland more productive. And so all these trends together, combined with the AI explosion, which I know you've all been talking about, combined with electrification of everything, makes component technologies and sensor technologies really well available. And the increase of acceptance of AI by the farmers. Farmers are always been early adopters, by the way. They'll go out, and if something's wrong with their tractor, they're very hands-on, they fix it, they understand it, they're very practical, very capable, exactly the right kind of customer for this automation technology. I never thought I'd end up in the Oval Office by the invite of a sitting president, but I did. And obviously, I'm not the most successful entrepreneur in the country. I haven't made the most money, but I have done it with intention, and I have done it doing what is my passion. So along with these folks like Tory Burch and Steve Case and Chobani, the yogurt guy, I think we ended up here, which was one of the thrills of my career, to talk about how can we expand these ideas of intentional entrepreneurship and to other countries as a presidential ambassador for global entrepreneurship. So I'm happy to take some questions if we have time, and otherwise, you know, it's trite to say I'm standing between you and lunch, but now I'm standing between you and a late lunch.